Hi Year 11, welcome to this video on the fieldwork paper. So, the key thing about the fieldwork paper, or one of the key aspects, is unfamiliar fieldwork questions. So what do we mean by an unfamiliar fieldwork question? So they're going to ask you about fieldwork that you haven't studied before. They're going to present you somebody else's work. Okay, they're setting the knowledge that you've carried out your own fieldwork in this environment. And as a result, all the unfamiliar fieldwork questions clearly set a context and a background. Here's an example of a sample resource. So you can see that students have gone off to do some urban fieldwork. Some have went to site A, some have went to site B, and there's a little bit of context about that. So this is the sort of thing that you'll be given in the exam. If we think back now to the inquiry process, there are 6 different stages to the inquiry process, and they can ask about any of those 6 there, okay? So they could ask about, if we look at number 1, the kind of questions that you could ask for an investigation. For number 2, we're looking at the range of techniques and methods used. For number 3, how we present the data. Number 4, how we analyse that data. Number 5, evidence, conclusions and summaries from fieldwork data. And number 6, reflecting critically on the fieldwork data. So the questions can come from any of those 6 stages. What can the examiner assume you know about the fieldwork? They can't assume anything very specific, okay? They know that you have studied one quantitative fieldwork method to measure land use function in terms of urban areas, and one qualitative fieldwork method to record the quality of the urban environment, as well as the use of census data. So they can ask you anything along those lines. It's also known that you'll have studied the Change in Cities Topic 4 unit. So unfamiliar questions can assume some background knowledge about towns and cities within the UK, but cannot know exactly which quantitative and qualitative techniques you used. Every question has a scenario based around resource. These scenarios are purposely not perfect. They will have weaknesses. So they're going to give you some students' work, and that students' work will have some drawbacks to it, some disadvantages to it. You need to be able to spot what those are. Okay, what is where is the bias and what the students collected? Where is the evidence of techniques not being reliable, etc.? So every question has a command word. These are listed and defined on the next slide. Some of those questions will be broken out into smaller parts. Others will be longer 8-mark assess or evaluate questions. The command words there, you've seen them all before. The key thing is you're going to get a mixture of shorter questions and then either an assess or an evaluate question as well. Okay. And here's an example of what the exam will look like in the real thing. Okay, so we can see there's some background there talking about the students investigated shop types within Shrewsbury in Shropshire, then what their findings were, as well as a graph. And then you can see the evaluate question below. I hope that gives you some idea of what you'll face on the unfamiliar fieldwork.